Hello and welcome to the big picture. The political crisis in Bihar has got deepened. The Patna High Court has termed the election of Nitish Kumar as the leader of the Janata Dal-U legislature party as illegal. Meanwhile, the governor has allowed Chief Minister Jitan Ram Manjhi to seek a vote of confidence in the assembly on February 20th. The Janata Dal-U has expelled the Chief Minister from the party. Meanwhile, Manjhi today merrily promised largesse to the farmers like free power if he continues in office. All these developments reminds one of similar crisis which used to be common in several states in the 1980s and 1990s. The Bombay judgment which came in mid-90s brought about some stability. However, with this fresh crisis, one needs to have a relook at the legal and constitutional position and discuss how the present crisis may play out in the coming days. To discuss this, I have with me Pavan Verma, Janata Dal-U MP in the Rajya Sabha, Dr. C.P. Thakur, BJP MP in the Rajya Sabha and also the National Vice President of the BJP on the phone line from Patna, K.N. Bhat, Senior Advocate in the Supreme Court, PDT Achary, former Secretary General Lok Sabha, and Vinod Sharma, Political Editor, Hindustan Times. Welcome to all of you. Mr. Pavan Verma, what is the grouse now? What is the grouse of your party? The governor has said that this has to be decided on the floor of the House on February 20th. And the High Court has said that the election of Nitish Kumar as the JDU legislature party is illegal. So what is the grouse now for you people?
Girish, let me answer your question in two parts since it was asked in that way. Firstly, what is the grouse? The grouse is self-evident and transparent. Here is a party and a combination of parties who have paraded their 130 MLAs as proof of their absolute majority in the House before the governor at the Raj Bhavan and before the Mahamahim Rashtrapati Ji in New Delhi. But the governor is not calling a session of the assembly for them to prove their majority, and or alternatively, if there is a chief minister who refuses to vacate his chair with the support of only 12 MLAs in a house of 243, ask him to prove his majority. Instead of that, and our request was please convene as per constitutional practice
Pavan Verma, he has been asked
as early as possible and within 48 hours. The governor has given 2 weeks.
So that is the grouse.
That is an open invitation to horse trading.
So that is the grouse.
No, and the second point that you mentioned about the High Court judgment, all that the High Court judgment has said is that we will continue to hear arguments on the recognition by the Speaker of the House of Mr. Nitish Kumar as the leader of the largest party. But that argument is also continuing, and it has left the decision on who has the majority to the governor, which is exactly what we are also saying, that the governor must play the constitutional role as mandated by the constitution, convene a special session if that is the route he wishes to adopt for one of the parties to approve their majority. We have demonstrated our majority. So there is a complete artificially generated crisis of political uncertainty and constitutional malpractice going on in Bihar. It's a sad day for democracy.
Okay. Dr. C.P. Thakur, your party is one of the major parties there with 85 MLAs. Yes. Now, you know, if the Janata Dal legislature, Janata Dal-U has decided that this chief minister is, should not continue, they have expelled him from the party, what is it that the BJP is thinking and wanting to do? Because there are also charges against you, against your party, that it's encouraging the Jitan Ram Manjhi to go ahead and revolt in the manner that he has done.
No, actually no. BJP is not at all involved with this whole drama. BJP is only saying that this government of party of Mr. Nitish Kumar, they did not behave well with the scheduled caste Chief Minister of Bihar, and he has been humiliated, and neither the governor nor the court everybody is right. The only thing that it should be decided on, say, when house opens. So what is the harm in no hurry and no harm?
There is no hurry. There is no hurry to do it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Mr.
So
Bhat.
that, Girish.
Yes, Pavan.
First of all, when he says, Mr. Thakur,
Yeah.
for whom I have great respect, that there is no hurry. The budget session is to be presented on behalf of some government. Will it be a government of 12 MLAs led by a chief minister who refuses to vacate his chair? Has
No.
been expelled by his
He has-
party
no,
and
no,
has been
don't
already
say.
categorized by the
Don't
speaker
say.
as an
Actually,
unattached member.
no.
I ask you, that
no.
is why,
He cannot
that is
vacate
why
the chair. No,
the governor
I
had
don't agree
initially
here. Don't agree here.
appreciated the argument.
No.
Please let me finish, sir.
Actually,
the governor had
actually,
initially
he
appreciated
has
the
called
argument.
he has called
Pavan, let me
session of the
let me
assembly,
finish. Sir, let
and
me
you
finish.
are narrating things in a wrong way. That is not correct.
Okay, sir, I know, both of you have a point.
So, the whole thing will be tested in the assembly, and
Oh, am I wrong,
not
sir?
with the governor or the president of India. What was the need for carrying all the
So,
animals,
sir, why
all
can
the
you not
members
call a
from
special
here
session of the
to tell
assembly
you?
quickly?
Quickly,
No.
Pavan, your point is that it should be called quickly. Let me get K.N. Bhat in on this. K.N. Bhat, incidentally, was
Immediately. How
let-
can you have a budget session by a government which is proven illegitimate?
Okay,
It has
No.
no legitimacy.
That government not
Sir,
legitimate. Actually,
Dr. Thakur,
no.
Dr. Thakur, let me get the legal and constitutional position on this. Let me get Mr. K.N. Bhat. K.N. Bhat, incidentally, was the lawyer who filed the petition in the Supreme Court on behalf of Mr. S.R. Bommai later, which is now
Yes,
the case law
yes.
as
Very
far
nice,
as this is
very nice.
concerned. Let
Very
us get him on let us get his views on this. Mr. Bhat, how do you look at this crisis?
I think whatever is the hurry that some set of people are involved, but governor has acted, according to me, absolutely in accordance with the constitution. He has no other way except because the governor is required to give a reasonable time. You must remember that the Bihar chief minister was asked to prove his majority only last June. Now suddenly the political party says that look, he doesn't have a majority, maybe or may not be. But it has to be proved on the floor of the house. It is not, there is no 48 hours required anywhere in the constitution. And there is no requirement of an immediate one, as Mr. Pavan Verma has been saying. Earlier the better, I agree. But about 10 days time, I think is not too bad according to the constitution. Because you must remember that before Bommai's judgment, about 110 or 120 presidents' rule imposed the early 80s and 90s, as you said.
Right.
There was no floor test involved at all.
Absolutely.
Bommai himself, as you may recall, the facts I know that, he was having comfortable majority. Someday governor gets a letter saying that 23 of us have withdrawn support. Immediately the governor sends a report to the center and the president's rule was imposed.
Right.
That was the situation then.
Right.
The text of the constitution has not changed. It remains exactly the same as it was. But after Bommai's judgment, all that is stated is that the number of members supporting a particular government has to be proved on the floor of the house.
And nowhere else.
The governor or the Rashtrapati Bhavan cannot decide. That is there is no purpose of bringing them to Rashtrapati Bhavan except to see that they are not, in the meanwhile, somebody does not snatch them away. That is the only reason, but
Okay.
constitutionally not required.
Okay. This kind of parading takes place for purely political purposes, obviously not for legal purposes. Mr.
Only,
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Dr. Thakur, I'll come back to you. Please stay on. Mr. Achary. No, there are several angles to this crisis. One of them is that as the Janata Dal-U, as Pavan Verma and his party members are saying, that how can a governor come and address the house when the chief minister himself, his supporter, his majority is in question? How can governor, address something, come and address a joint session?
See, in my view, the governor's address will take place only after
The trust vote.
Trust vote. It can happen only after the trust vote.
It can happen.
Yeah.
Ah.
Because, the constitution, that particular article uses the words at the commencement of the session. At the commencement. Now, this point has been settled long back, that at the commencement means within a reasonable period of the commencement of the House. That is what it means.
Not the first thing. Not the first thing. Are you trying to say it's not the first thing?
Not necessarily the first day. Now, you must have observed that in the election year, when the parliament meets after new elections, the House meets and oath taking takes place. After that, the speaker's election also takes place.
Right.
Only after that, the president addresses both the houses assembled together. So this is what has been happening. So, in my view, the governor's address can take place only after the trust vote. That's what I feel.
Not before that?
No.
Okay. Vinod?
I think it's a political question.
No, not only that.
Insofar as the governor's
What is the
address,
political
governor's address is, the question about the governor's address is that the governor's address is the address effectively of the government.
Absolutely.
He is speaking on behalf of the government.
So
the question is,
yes,
he would be speaking on behalf of what government? What I get to understand is that, Mr. Thakur can bear me out, that it will start with an address of the governor and then there will be a confidence vote. Because the argument that is being taken is that the cabinet resolution that was passed to assign the 20th of February as a date for the start of the budget session has not been altered, despite the problem within the cabinet.
So this decision has been taken by the cabinet and not
Undivided
the
cabinet, undivided cabinet. You see, now cabinet is not divided.
Right.
But leave that aside. You see, my point is very simple. Mr. Bhat says that a reasonable time has to be given to the chief minister whose majority is in doubt. Now, I think that, justice doesn't seem to be just, you don't have to just do it, it should seem to be done. No, you see, in 1984, Mr. Bhat, you remember, MPs were paraded by N.T. Ramarao, who came on a wheelchair. That was the time of Gani Zail Singh, and Ramlal was the governor of Andhra Pradesh. And I remember that two officials of the Prime Minister's office were called over by the President of the day, after he spoke to the Prime Minister, to see that, look, I am taking a head count, and this was before Pomai, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can also take a head count yourself. And consequent to that, Mr. N.T. Ramarao was restored and Ramlal was sacked. Now, the problem here is that Mr. Kesrinath Tripathi does not come with a glorious reputation, because his own conduct as Speaker in Uttar Pradesh.
How is that relevant here?
It is relevant because he is a governor of the BJP. And
he is governor of Bihar.
Please, now he is the governor of Bihar. But how do political parties which feel being wronged by him come and bring themselves around to trusting him? So it's essentially a political question. And these MPs have been paraded. MPs have been paraded before the president and the governor. First the governor and then the president, just to establish that tomorrow if the BJP by some sleight of hand decides to support Maji, that they can establish that this government is a government born out of horse trading. And in today's era of transparency and clean governance and Swachh Bharat, well, I think a lot of questions would have to be asked.
Let me get Dr. Thakur. Dr. Thakur, how do you respond to this?
Actually,
yes.
As he is saying, there are two parts of it. First, that date has been fixed, and the governor also saying the same thing. So first, the majority, he says that majority should be proved. So
right.
On that reasonable date is that.
Right.
On that day, so it can be done. I don't disagree there. After proving the majority, then the next step, the address can be done.
Okay.
But this House has to continue till 20th. It has to be proved there. not before the governor here or the president there.
No, that is
Nobody
clear.
is arguing that.
Nobody argues. Sir, Dr. Thakur, my question, my only very limited question to you in this, on this point is this, that when the cabinet took a decision to convene the assembly from February 20th, the governor just accepted that date. You know, in normal circumstances, that would have been fine. Nobody could have.
Girish.
Nobody would have. I'm coming to you, Mr. Bhat. Wait 1 second. So, in this case, there is a crisis. The chief minister is under a shadow. Whether he continues to be the chief minister or not, his party says he is not. He has been expelled. So, don't you think that in a early convening of the session would have been better instead of just following what the cabinet has done?
No, actually, this is not very late convening of the session. Already it has been fixed. And before that, then there can be 2 hearings in the court also. The court also has agreed to that decision. So, there is no difference of opinion in that decision. Only thing that you say that governor should address a particular party who is in power.
Right.
So it can be done after that also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Pavan.
But not before 20. There is no hurry about 20 years.
You keep saying there is no hurry. Yes, Pavan.
Yeah. Because
No, 2 points are here. First of all, the High Court judgment puts no constraints on the governor to act independently in order to resolve this crisis.
Right.
In fact, the judgment says that the decision should be with the governor.
Right.
First point. Second point, I want to ask Mr. Thakur, have there been no precedents of special sessions of assemblies
No.
being called? Have they not been called in a notice of 24 hours?
not 24 hours. No,
And is this crisis not warranting a situation
No, don't
which
say
is
that.
out
Don't
of the
say that.
routine?
Not
Our allegation, our
crisis
charge,
of 24
sir,
hours.
is that by deliberately not taking
no need
action,
of this
by
crisis of 24
deliberately
hours.
not taking
So
action,
the House,
the purpose is
20th.
to make an open invitation to horse trading
No.
and
What is this
unethical
horse
money
trading?
practices.
No horse trading in
And
Bihar.
okay, the whole
Don't
drama
use
is
this
scripted
very
by the BJP in Delhi.
bad words, horse trading. A old thing. Now, not now.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Okay,
Why is it bad? You are encouraging it, sir.
No. You have no patience actually. No patience. You are not waiting at all.
Okay.
We have more than enough patience.
Yes,
But we want action now.
Okay, Mr. Bhat, you wanted to come in.
Can
You
I-
wanted to come in.
Can I? Yes.
Yes, Mr. Bhat.
Yeah, I wanted to come in for the reason that 20th of February, the date which has been fixed has got no sanctity.
There is no sanctity, yes.
Governor can call a session. Governor can call on his own because a ministry whose strength is being tested, no cabinet is likely to recommend the constitution of a house. But in this case, the governor has just conveniently put the date itself as taken. There is no, otherwise governor can put any date which he thinks is convenient. But since there are already a notified that, governor thought that is good enough. And I fully agree with Mr. Achary that this governor's address has to be after the confidence vote is approved.
Okay. So the governor...
So the situation...
Yeah. Please continue.
The governor, as I said, normally a parliament, after a assembly or parliament is prorogued or postponed indefinitely, it is reconvened on the advice of the cabinet.
Right.
But in the case where cabinet its own confidence is in doubt, governor does not have to wait for their recommendation. Governor can call it on any convenient day, but at 10 days I don't think that, because the horses in the stable of Mr. Nitish Kumar not so volatile as to jump and run away for the trading. So
We don't know, sir. We don't know the horses nowadays. We don't know about that.
Girish, our horses are well trained and disciplined.
Then why are you talking of horse
Let me
trading?
also
then?
tell you
in which case
that there should be no constitutional malpractice which encourages horse trading.
No, but if you're saying your horses are well trained, you should not be having any doubts about horse trading also.
What? And worried at all. I tell
So
you,
laws are made not on the assumption that people are, I'm sorry, Girish, please get your jurisprudence right. Laws are made not on the assumption,
Sir, Mr. Bhat,
not on the assumption that nobody will ever commit a crime.
one.
Yes, Mr. Bhat. Let Mr.
Yeah,
Bhat finish.
that's
Pavan.
right. That is right. Yeah, you see, one complete one. N.T. Ramarao, when he was in trouble, the whole group was marched into Karnataka, and Ramakrishna Hegde accommodated all of them.
Right.
And it was said that the rooms were locked and the MLAs were allowed to stay within the room. Not even telephones were given to them.
No, sir, that is not factually correct. Mr. Bhat, I can tell you it is not factually correct because I was eyewitness to that whole drama in Mysore. Anyway, that is not the point now. Let me get Vinod in on this.
Anyway, that is not the point.
Yes. I'll come back to you, Mr. Bhat. I have another question for you. I'll come back to you. Before that, let me get Vinod. Vinod, the other question which is which is bothering in the entire crisis is about who should call the meeting of the Janata, the legislature party. That was the question which was there before.
Jitan Ram Manjhi said that he had the authority to call the meeting because he was the chief minister.
Right.
But the reality is the meeting was convened to remove him. You see, and there was no possibility of reconvening a meeting to remove him of a party of MLAs who were all set to remove him. So I think Jitan Ram Manjhi, you see, my personal information is while this Mahadalit, and even Mr. C.P. Thakur is continuing to say Mahadalit, then where is the Vikas? Where is the Vikas flag now? You can't eat the cake and have it too. You see, the problem is that this whole harping on the Mahadalit business, I don't think Mr. Jitan Ram Manjhi is anymore a Mahadalit because he becomes the chief minister of a state. And he's the creamy layer according to in any case, forget about that.
Then you make it this law.
No, listen, please sir, please bear with me sir. You people said that you were contesting the election on Vikas. That you are running this government on Vikas. Now, why are you keep on hopping on Mahadalit? You are actually a party. You are actually
the argument.
You are actually a party.
Legally, and then you come to the sentiment.
Sir, Mr. C.P. Thakur,
yes.
You are a party of forward caste in Bihar.
No, not forward caste.
No.
All caste. Yes, not only forward caste.
No, sir. You see, Vinod, let us not take and have it too, please.
No, Vinod, let us not get into that argument.
Backward caste.
अरे भाई आप तो ठाकुरों और भूमिहारों की पार्टी है, ब्राह्मणों की पार्टी है.
Vinod, let us not get into that thing. Pavan Verma, okay, Mr. Bhat endorses your line that there can be, the governor can, if he wants to, convene the session earlier, if he wants to. Now that he has decided to stick to what the cabinet has decided, I suppose, I don't know what kind of a, where you can find any recourse to this. But the fact of the matter is that why are you people so nervous to wait for just another 8 days before this happens, before the floor test is conducted?
Girish,
the horses are in
let me
Delhi.
answer you, Girish. First of all, if we want the right thing to be done, it's not a sign of nervousness. It's about democratic convention, practice and norms. There is a farcical situation in a major state of the country where a chief minister who has been expelled from the party has almost no cabinet to name and only 12 MLAs supporting him, who is taking decisions every day regarding the destiny and fate of the state with no authority, legitimacy or powers to do so. On the other side, you have his own party from which he has been expelled, with a complete majority having elected a new leader seeking to demonstrate their majority on the floor of the house or to the satisfaction of the governor, and the governor sits immobile.
Okay.
The request specifically is, sir, in the state, all kinds of attempts at horse trading and malpractice and ethical misuse of money will be set afoot.
No,
Please
Pavan,
don't
your
allow that to happen.
Okay, Pavan,
Please
your point is well
convene
taken. Your
a
point is
session of the House.
No, Pavan,
where
your
the
point is well
party which
taken.
can claim its majority proves itself on the floor of the House.
absolutely. Your point is well
The
taken.
governor does nothing. The governor
Okay.
is actually convinced of the need to do so when the all-party delegation led by Mr. Nitish Kumar meets him.
No, okay, Pavan, let me get,
Subsequently, when he is
Pavan, let me
visited
get,
Delhi, we
let
don't
me
know
get
what
Mr. Bhat
alchemy
in on this.
happens.
Let me get, your point is well taken. Mr. Bhat, the question is now this. Pavan talks about, his leader going to the president. Does the president have any role to play in this? Can he direct the governor to say that, please hold this session earlier than what has been already announced? Ensure that, this crisis is resolved as soon as possible.
Normally, no, but in the constitution there is a provision, I think article 164 or something, 162, I don't remember exactly the number of the article, where if the constitution is silent on some matters, the president can give directions to the governor. And that is a general, this particular thing, but not in this case. I tell you one thing, the constitution nowhere recognizes a political party except for 10th schedule.
Right.
Otherwise, the political majority has no relevance for the purpose of forming a government. All that is required is the chief minister or the prime minister, as the case may be, should enjoy the confidence of the House.
Right.
So the political party has been advisedly given out of the purview of the constitution. So what they do, I entirely agree with Mr. Verma that the Patna High Court's proceedings have got no relevance as far as this particular thing is concerned. These developments are totally different, and the president, this particular question which Girish you put, the president has power in a given situation, but I don't think that it is for a larger issue, not for saying that holding the assembly session tomorrow or day after tomorrow.
Okay. But
No
what
such
about
precedent anywhere?
But Mr. Bhat, what about the election of Nitish Kumar as the JDU legislature party leader? Who does the president of a political party?
That is all internal.
No, it may be internal, but it is.
You see, as I said,
No, but it may be. Sir, I am asking you a legal question.
it has.
I'm asking you a legal question. Can the president of a political party convene the meeting of a legislature party? That is the question being discussed now.
You see, as I said, as far as the constitution is concerned,
It doesn't recognize.
except for anti-defection, that is 10th schedule, political party has got no
That is
stand
decided
at
by
all.
the-
Okay,
So what
okay.
you do internally, who can convene, who cannot convene, etc. That is the position.
Okay. Oh, yes,
So
Mr.
who calls the legislature party is immaterial.
Okay.
See,
Mr. Achary?
that actually question depends on the constitution of that particular party. Because they have to go
According to their own
according to
constitution.
their own constitution. Who will convene the meeting? Who has the authority to convene a meeting and all that kind of thing, It depends on that only. It has
And-
nothing to do with the Indian constitution.
And the governor need not take note of any of these things.
No.
Okay. Yes, Vinod, very quickly. You think that how do you expect this whole crisis to be resolved?
Well, I think
It has to be resolved on the floor of the House.
It has to be. There is no escape from that. The SR case judgment of the Supreme Court is there. That's the only platform where a chief minister has to prove his authority or has to be voted out.
Right.
And I think that Mr. Jitaman Manji, if he manages to obtain a majority, then we would like to revisit this question.
We will
And the
certainly-
reasonable time being given to a chief minister
Absolutely.
to mobilize MLAs, through other means.
Okay, we are out of time.
But it will be a mockery of the
One more issue.
Very, very quickly, sir.
Constitution.
There is one more issue.
Very quickly.
Even if he wins the majority in the House, there is another problem. The operation of 10th schedule. Now, if he
Exactly.
if he pulls out, if he
So
pulls
he'll be
out,
expelled from the party.
No, what
and
I'm saying
attention
is,
to-
what I'm saying is,
If the party
let me-
president issues a whip,
let
who
me
will
make
issue
it-
the whip?
Let me make it clear.
Yes.
Now, if he pulls out 2/3 of the members of the JDU,
Then there is no problem.
Then there is, and then they have to merge with another party. You know, that is the thing. Otherwise, he is liable to be disqualified.
He'll be disqualified as an entity.
He is liable to be disqualified. That problem is there.
Absolutely.
And I think the honorable speaker, the governor, should have factored all these
Okay,
things in.
okay.
But because he's Kesrinath Tripathi, I'm not surprised.
Vinod, we are completely run out of time, but this is a interesting situation which has emerged. We'll have to wait and watch how it will all play out. But as all my panelists say, most of the panelists felt that, having this kind of a vote of confidence as early as possible would be the best thing. We'll wait and watch what will happen. Thanks to all my guests. Please keep watching. We'll come back with another issue, the big picture, same time tomorrow.